Hi, everybody. I hope that you all are doing well and you are safe and healthy. Um, Yet another Wednesday, and we are still dealing with the epidemic, of course. So there was just a few things that I wanted to chat about today that is sort of a continuation from what I chatted about last week. But the first thing is that I just wanted to point out that this has definitely been a humbling experience to have to run outside instead of being in my gym. And it's shown how pampered I have been in my gym. So, um, just whining to my guides about not wanting to be outside and that it's so much more difficult and all that. And they just look at me like I'm an idiot. Just getting outside when you can, any type of movement, and this is not, I'm not saying that you need to focus on losing weight or anything like that. That's not what I'm concerned about at all with everybody. It's that when you just are nonstop sitting all the time, and a lot of us are having to work from home, and so we're already having to sit a lot in front of the screens. It actually helps with depression. It helps with, your mood, everything like that. If you just get up and move around a little bit, and you don't have to run, you could do, anything that you want to find on YouTube or doing a dance off, with your family or something like that. But just trying to get up and move around a bit, okay, because it's really easy to get into that slump of just sitting and watching television. And I mean, we're watching way more television than what we usually are, but I still make sure to turn off the television while we get all of our work done, and then even just putting on some music and working on a puzzle or something like that. But just getting up and moving around, I think is really important. Now, the other type of movement that I wanted to talk about, which I sort of started talking about this last week, was the crazy spirit activity that has not stopped in my house, at least. I don't know how everybody is doing in your homes. But I don't know what exactly. We're in between moon phases, so it's not like we're even having to deal with any type of full moons or the dark moon or anything like that. I just not appreciating being woken up in the middle of the night, somebody shaking my bed when I am in a deep, deep sleep, getting up, looking around, seeing if the washing machine got turned on or something like that, just trying to find any type of explanation, and hearing knocking and, just things being moved. And my daughter, has been woken up several times as well with different noises. And it's not anything that is, I don't feel any threat at all. And I did meditate and I did, do reading and use my pendulum and things like that. And I can sense that it's a human spirit that is really active. Actually, it's human spirits as well as, one of our cats that's passed on a few years ago, that she still hangs out with us, which that's not a big deal at all. I think that, some people that had crossed over in my neighborhood in this area, and I don't even feel that it's from the virus necessarily. I think they just crossed over and they just, it's just a natural thing that, spirits of any sort gravitate towards my home. I mean, I've been dealing with this my entire life, but, I do have protection on my house. So it's more like a filter than anything, because if I were to put a complete solid bubble around my home, then my other spirit guides couldn't go in and out. I mean, they have things they got to do too. And so, it's more like a spider's web that filters so nothing negative is coming in. So I know that there's nothing that's really going to harm us at all. But it's still startling when you're being shaken awake in the middle of the night. So it's just, one of those startling things. And the other thing that has been, or the other being that has been affected by the spirit activity is my one dog. That he is, hey Mish, hey Mish, he's taking a nap right now, because they have such a rough life in this house. But Hamish, he is a American Staffordshire. He's a pit bull, so big jarhead, and and many mothers are terrified if their small children come near him when he is just a big baby. When it comes to kids, because they just always have food on their face, and he likes to lick that off. But he is also a big baby when it comes to spirits. And it's just really interesting that he's actually sort of like my litmus test as far as what's going on in the house. Because if Hamish is shaking and is hiding, then there is something going on. And he doesn't do this very often, but when there is, a lot of spirit activity, then he does sit on my lap and shake, and or hide under my desk while I'm working. He's just, it's amusing and sad at the same time. But he has been very scared. And, and your animals, if you have animals and or children, may also be seeing some different types of entities of any sort. And, I have been contacted recently, just in the past week since I did my last video, about some people having some really negative or scary situations happening. And unfortunately, I can't go to people's homes right now to do a house clearing. That is something that I usually do is, and I said, back in March, I said, sure, I'll come to your house. But now that we have a stay-at-home order, I am not going to risk, getting $1,000 fine or anything. It's not like I have a psychic, license or anything like that I have to worry about, like a massage therapist or hairstylist or anything like that. But I am not going to get a fine going to somebody's house to do business. So once this stay-at-home orders is completely done in Colorado, then I can come to people's homes and do house clearings. But some people don't even know exactly what is going on in their homes. And the thing is that now that we are at home a lot more, the things that, oh, that was really weird, and then you forget about it. You're noticing things a lot more because you're at home all of the time. And so you want to, first off, you want to look to see if it's just something like, is a window open and it's moving things, or is it, because that's the first thing that I always look for when I go to people's homes, is just to see if there is some type of scientific or common sense thing of why the X, Y, and Z is happening or something like that. And there's many different kinds of entities that can be in people's homes, and I don't remove all entities. It depends on what it is. If it is an entity, or if it's like a human spirit or even a land spirit that is not necessarily trying to harm people, then I go into, I discuss this with the homeowner, and I explain to them what needs to be done. Because usually if it is a land spirit like the Fae or something like that, it's usually that the homeowners have pissed off something somehow. And, whether it be cutting down all the trees, had that happen before, where somebody, they cut down all of their trees and bushes in the backyard because they didn't want to get leaves in their swimming pool. And then the land spirits were really angry. And so I explained that, and that maybe you need to plant something somewhere else, or, things like that. So it's not an automatic, as soon as something weirdo is happening in your house, and I'm going to be kicking things out, because it could be your grandmother that passed on, that she's just wanting to say hi. So it's not an automatic me going to kick somebody or something out. And usually it's not even just one thing. If there's a lot of activity going on in a house, Usually there's more than one thing that's going on. And it could be a combination of a human spirit and a land spirit, or, I mean, and it does happen, demonic entities. They are no fun, but, I do take care of that. The thing that you want to do, that you can do, is to burn some incense. If you can't burn incense for whatever reason, having some type of aromatherapy that is also a type of cleanser. Hey buddy, come here. Come here. This is Hamish. That's the big jarhead right there. Look at him. Yeah, that's the big baby that he gets scared of ghosts. What was I saying? You interrupted me. Oh, yes. Human energy. So you're going to want to cleanse your home with any type of incense or any type of oils. If you have like a oil diffuser or something like that, that can help. And also just going through your home and just, just envisioning brushing negative energy out of your house. And if you even want to use an actual broom, I mean, that is perfectly fine. But we build up energy in our homes, whether we realize we're doing that or not. And so regardless of how awesome or upbeat or positive you are, when we are working through things, even if it's like just grief, if someone has crossed over or something like that, then, that's just our energy it's going to be in our homes. And so you want to just cleanse your home and just make sure that, it's not just your own funk, basically, your own energies that have been collecting there. And if there are things that are moving, it can be a number of different things. And like I was saying, I usually do some type of litmus test or something like that. But if I do sense that something's there, then I'm automatically going to just say, yeah, there is something in here. And usually people don't say anything until they just can't handle it anymore. That they are at their wit's end. They can't, they know that there's something wrong. And especially if animals or children are being harmed, which that is often the case of when I get called in, is if animals and or children are just having really weird, scratches where they usually can't even reach or get or anything like that. If they are constantly having nightmares, if they are, constantly, walking in their sleep, talking, whatever, then, that's usually when I am called in, because at that point, parents definitely want to just make their homes as safe as possible. And the really difficult thing right now is that as much as I want you all to cleanse your homes of your own energy, I don't want you trying to remove something on your own, especially if you're not used to doing that sort of thing to begin with. Because you can just piss it off and make things even worse. And you don't want to do that, especially since we still, at least here in Colorado, have a couple more weeks at least of the stay-at-home orders. And so you don't want to stir up the bee's hive, basically. You don't want to stir up things, make things even worse. So, what you can do is burn dragon's blood. If you feel that there is, something there that is just not, it just shouldn't be there, dragon's blood is actually a really good incense. Sage is good for human energy. Dragon's blood is what I use for getting rid of demonic entities. I actually have this really big metal toolkit that I carry with me. It's so heavy, but I actually caught the front seat of my car on fire once because of the charcoal. So I have to make sure that I don't catch my car on fire again. So I have a big metal toolbox that I keep everything in, for afterwards. Everything's all safe in there and all that. But I go in there and I have every single type of resin and incense and that sort of thing. And I just go in and I determine, and I go room by room, and I use my pendulum. I use, just my different senses, things like that, to determine what exactly is in the home. And one other thing that I do tell people, and this is sort of crazy, but if you are planning on having me come to your house to do a house clearing, you just, if it feels like there is something harmful in your home, you don't want to say my name out loud, because I've actually had that happen before, where clients were like talking with somebody and they're like, oh, we're gonna have an intern to come and blah, blah, blah. And then things get even crazier, because they know what's going to happen when I actually get there. So you don't want to just say that I'm specifically going to be coming there. That's just it's not a good idea. You can contact me and ask me questions of, hey, this is this. And this sort of goes back to when I was talking last week about the addictions, because one of the first things that I ask people when they contact me about doing a house clearing is there anybody in your home that has any type of major addictions or major mental health issues? Because that when you are when you are addicted to some type of drug, or you're drinking so much that you're just not in control of yourself, then you're opening yourself up to any type of entities and attachments and things like that. And usually it's or it could be if somebody has some type of major anger issue, or that they just, and that and I mean, I'm talking like borderline schizophrenic or something like that they are just very aggressive. That can also bring in those type of energies, those type of entities into your home. And I actually have been in homes of addicts, and because they asked me to come specifically to check out their homes, and it was utterly terrifying. And that is coming from me, that I've seen a lot of things. And but I explained to them that they needed to get rid of their addictions, because I can clear your house all day long, put up protection, and within a month, I guarantee you that it's going to happen all over again. And I don't want people to be like, oh, well, you didn't tell me and this didn't work, or whatever it is, when it's not even whether I can do it or not. I can clear it, no problem. But if you are opening up, yourself to those type of, with addictions or drinking or something like that, then you are going to just keep bringing in things into your home. That's where it gets really difficult, because, if somebody is in your home that has these type of problems, that's honestly the first thing that really needs to be addressed, at least right now. And it's really difficult because we're all stuck at home, and, I'm not saying, everybody needs to just, leave the people or kick them out or something like that. But at the same time, this is a larger issue than what people actually think. Because it's not just that these entities are just floating around just because, it's that they are drawn to certain energies. And if people are, just are very aggressive or whatever. And it's also, and once again, it's a lot of people that I have found that have major addictions also have a lot of psychic abilities, which, I talked about a bit of that last week. But they don't know how to control it at all. They don't know what to do with it. They think that they're crazy, so therefore they're just going to keep masking. And so it's just this one big, cycle that is very, it's very destructive to everybody in the home because, if there are things in the house and it's affecting everybody, it's not just that one person. But that's even just it with, people that have addictions anyways, whether or not you have an entity in your house or not, that affects the entire home. So, working on that, trying to identify that if you do indeed feel that there are some things in your home that you're not feeling safe or something like that, you can talk to me. You can message me or whatever. But, like I said, I can't come to people's homes until this is over. And I don't want people to stir the bee's nest by making things worse. But you can burn some incense, and you can, for a short time, at least make them go away, just saying, you need to leave my house now. You are not welcome here. Just go away. You can say those things. And sometimes that actually does work for a short time period. And so, if it's sort of like a Band-Aid more than anything, but it's better than nothing, because since I can't get there. And, and the vast majority of the, psychics in Denver actually, refer me to people if they have these type of issues, because I'm the stupid one that actually will go to people's houses and do this. But it's also because of just, I have a lot of experience with that, just dealing with different spirits and entities and things like that since I was little, but also just living in France. There was a lot of things going on with that. But, so back to the animals and the children, just really just paying attention to how they're acting. If you have little tiny children, okay, because they can actually... And I'm not saying, oh, well, here, toss them in there and let's just see what they do. It's not like we want to use them as guinea pigs, but pay attention to small children. Pay attention to animals and how they act, especially in certain areas of the home. If there is a certain area that your dog just will not go by, or, that your cat will just sit there and stare, then, you might want to just open up, your mind a little bit to the possibility that there might be something actually there. And it's not just, animals and small children are a lot more open than adults, just because we have been taught to shut all of those abilities down. We're not supposed to believe in spirits. We're not supposed to believe in this, that, and the other thing. And so therefore, we're just going to keep on pretending. And, kids and animals, they haven't taught themselves that yet. They haven't been taught that by other people yet either. And so they may be talking to people, they may be that aren't there or whatever. And it's not necessarily, if they're just talking, and that's fine. If it's only if they're really scared. That's the thing that you should really be concerned about, because they do see ancestors, they do see, anybody that, may have died, and they come and visit you, and they're just chatting away, just telling them whatever. So it's not necessarily that it's something that needs to be removed. It is startling. Like I said, it is a little unnerving. And it is even to me. I mean, and I've been dealing with this with my entire life, but it's still just, oh yeah, well, and finally last night I finally slept, just because, and it wasn't that it wasn't crazy at all, because my daughter said that there was still some movement and noises and things like that, but I think I was just so tired that I'm just y'all just don't break anything, okay? Just leave me alone, and I'm gonna sleep tonight. Just leave me alone. Don't wake me up. So I think that's why I finally got a full night's sleep last night for the first time in many nights. And so yeah, anyway, so that's my crazy life there, is, just having weird things happening all of the time, and whatever. So I just wanted to just touch bases on those few things, because like I said, even after I had talked a little bit about that, I was getting some questions and things like that. And so just message me if you have any questions, and just stay safe, and just And the card for the day was the Ace of Cups inverted, which is all about self-care and just taking care of yourself and pamper yourself tonight. If you haven't done that throughout the day, tonight, just kick back and listen to some music and not do anything that, don't do anything that you got to do, okay? Or, just shut off your brain for the night, okay? Just enjoy the evening. We still have, of course, it's raining outside now, but we still have those 3 planets in alignment with our moon that I talked about in my newsletter, that if you're lucky to be able to go outside and see it, then that's awesome. And if you wanted to receive my newsletter, just message me and your email, and I can forward that to you. So I think that is pretty much it. So stay safe, stay healthy, and just, we're going to make it through eventually, and we're just, whether or not, anyway. So just have a good evening, and I will see you all next week. All right. Bye-bye.